I feel this machine feeding off me. I'm seeing it wiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name. I feel this machine feeding off me. I'm seeing it wiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. Y'all can see the difference. So today I'm gonna show y'all how I turned this dry vocal into something more atmospheric. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm gonna show you the whole plugin chain I used to transform this vocal. I didn't want it to have too much of a clean pop feel. I wanted to have like more of a dystopian, atmospheric type feel, to go in line with the song. So without further ado, let's get into the vocal chain that was used to create this. All right, now the DAW I'm using is Pro Tools. However, the same type of effects would apply for anything, whether it's FL Studio, whether it's Logic, GarageBand, whatever it is. They're all going to have EQs. They're all going to have compressors. They're all going to have different things you can use that would accomplish the same results. You just need to find your own way that make it fit for your vocal. With my vocal in particular, I have more of like a deep voice, and so the personality of my vocal lives in the lower end, but that's also where the mud lives. So let's see what I use to clean it up. All right, so the first thing I like to start with is a de-esser. I'm going to use 2 de-essers on this vocal, but you want to get out the sibilants. You want to get out the S's, the P's, the pops, things like that. So I use a de-esser. On my particular vocal, I'm using a 39.2 threshold on that. You can go up a little bit more. That's a little bit aggressive, but it worked well for this vocal in particular. So that's what I started with. And then I like this plugin, Rec REQ6, which you can use to make a bunch of different cuts. If you notice, I cut everything from low end from 0 to about 125. If you see that curve right there, that's the cut I made. And then for myself, I made a couple dips in between. So you'll hear a little bit of a difference. I'm seeing it swiping my machine feeding off me. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. Now let's hear it with it. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings. So not too much. You don't want to do too much on it because there's going to be other plugins. I'm going to use multiple EQs, things like that. You just want to get with EQ, a lot of things, what they don't tell you, people want to raise too much and do too much. The first thing you want to do is get in there and cut out the sounds that are harsh to the ear or annoying to the ears, whatever the case may be. But you don't want to go crazy with it, right? You see little dips and little cuts. You don't want to go crazy with it because then you're going to lose the whole personality of the vocal, especially with a vocal that's like a deeper vocal. All right. So after that, I use an R compressor. R compressor is a real good compressor, but it'll work comparable to any other compressor. I use the ratio of 1.69, threshold of negative 4.7. You'll hear a little bit of difference here. Getting off me. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. Starting to clear up a little bit more. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. You see what I'm saying? It's cleaning up a little bit more. That compressor is, with a compressor, pretty much it's bringing that vocal to be a little bit more blended and a little bit more sit at a certain space, right? So you bringing the highs down and you bringing the lows up. So when you compress a vocal, you pretty much giving it balance. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. All right, the next thing I want to use is something called the SSL channel. I know a lot of people use the SSL channel first, but essentially that's something I want to put on after I do my little cuts, after I do my de-esser, after I do my compressor, my first compressor. I'm coming with the SSL channel. SSL channel was closest to like outside of the box mix. Like if you're in the studio and you got the sliders and stuff like that, people are going to be more used to working with a SSL channel because it's going to actually show you a little bit more of the frequencies. It's not so much of a graphic EQ as opposed to more or less numbers. So let's go ahead in this SSL channel and see what I did. I feel this machine feeding off me. You see it's cleaning up more. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is called. So still differences, but subtle differences, right? If you notice, I cut up at about 10K, I just raised it about 3 dB because my vocal is so deep. I have to raise just a little bit of the high end enough, and you do want to do that for clarity, right? Also, I left the mid alone because I pretty much had a lot of life living in the mid already. So I pretty much left that alone. Let me see if I can hold this over. Okay. All right. And then also at the what is this? This is about the 8K. I did cut of about 3. Just 3 dB, nothing crazy. Now, this is where you're gonna get the opportunity to see for your vocal specifically, where you're gonna have to go in and determine what's the best location for you to work this at. And you'll see what I'm saying. This is on the low end. So I'll do something dramatic just so you can hear the difference. But this is gonna be like around a 200 range. I did a cut here, but you may want to cut a little bit higher or lower. But let's see what we're talking about. Machine feeding off me. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. So that's why I have it at down. But let's raise it and let's see how it sounds without that cut at all. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. See a lot more mud in there. You know what I mean? So let me raise it back, go back down. Let me do something dramatic, just super low. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings and sin. See how thin that is? That's why you don't want to go so much on these cuts. You just want enough for your vocal. So your vocal is going to naturally be different than mine. So you want to work that on a low end. And now, even if, like I said, you're on Logic, if you're on FL Studio, whatever the case is, you're going to have graphic EQ. You're going to have some kind of EQ that you're going to be able to see these same hertz that I'm dealing with. This is simply just a cut on a 200 hertz. This is just a different way of looking at it because it's a completely different plugin, but it does the same thing. So I'm turning into a new species. I watch my humanity leave. I stared in the mirror for 22 hours. Don't tell me this vanity, please. I'm starting to turn into all of this code, so it's getting harder to read. All right. So next, what we did was CLA vocal. CLA vocal was a good plugin. Chris Lord, Algae. Most people that deal with Pro Tools, especially like technicians that been mixing for a long time, you know what I mean? They definitely love these plugins. I do as well. I'm not going to say it's a necessity. I feel like whatever door you have, you can still accomplish the same thing, just depending on how you use it. But I really like this plugin. What it does is it has a mix of raising and lowering the treble, compressing inside of here. Even can use reverb in here if you want, raise and lower the bass. You know what I mean? So this is the plugin I use on here. Let's hear it with that now. It's swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. All right. Now I'm going to come back in with another compressor, a CLA. You see what I'm saying? That's why you don't want to raise too high or too low. You don't want to go too crazy because you're going to do a whole lot to continue to compress this vocal to make this vocal higher. So if you're like on that first EQ, if you're like, man, I need to raise it right here too much because it's doing too much. I don't like that place, so I need to lower it. No, just little subtle cuts because there are going to be other times you're going to come in and you're going to raise it a whole lot more to give it a lot more clarity and balance. And if you do too much of that in the beginning, by the time you get to this stage, you're going to have a thinned out vocal or you're going to have a vocal that just sound weird. You know what I mean? So what I did in here, I did an input of 24 dB on an input, and I did the output of about 18 dB. But this is a good way you can figure out how your vocal should be sitting in here, right? I'll play it so you can hear it. Getting off me. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. See how much you raised it? So this is how you can figure out most of the time where your vocal want to sit, but it's all dependent upon your style. If you look at this meter on here, if you go to the out, it should be hitting at around negative 12 dB. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. You see what I'm saying? So right there, you're going to know. But also, it's no matter how much technical skills you have or whatever the case is, you have to be able to use your ear to determine how you want your vocal to sound. Some songs you may want to be vocal a little bit loud. You may want the beat to be heavy where people can't even really hear what you're saying. You don't know. So whatever aesthetic and sound you're going for, after you do all the technical things, don't forget to listen. The whole thing is you have to listen. And then I came back again, right, with another de-esser. Now let's hear this de-esser. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. I'm turning into a new species. I watch my humanity leave. Now, if y'all notice, I'm using this microphone right here. I should have a sound canceling, like the little eyeball, whatever they use, and I will at some point. I don't at this point. So for me, I'm gonna have to DS a little bit more, but it's still, I feel like, giving a real good sound. So I want y'all to know this is not I don't have a crazy microphone at this point. I'm not even using a vocal blocking tool. I'm in an open room. You see what I'm saying? But you still could accomplish these sounds at this point in time. I think it's good to have the best interface that you could have. Definitely you want to have a good computer. You want to have an external hard drive so that you could have the bandwidth and disk space to do what you need to do in a good set of monitors. You know what I mean? But whatever it is that you have, you can make it work. So I came back in after that. I came in with an R compressor. So mind you, I had a compressor already. This is 3 compressors we have on here at this point. But we're doing them at different points and we're doing subtle differences. Nothing crazy. Off me, I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. All right. Now I came back in with a S1 imager. On this S1 imager, let me see. Let me show you. I'm gonna play it again real quick without it, so that you can remember how it sounds without it, and then I'll play it with it, and then I'll show you some little differences in there. Let's see. I'm turning into a new species. I watch my humanity leave. I stared in the mirror for 22 hours. Don't tell me this vanity, please. All right, bet. Okay, so that's without the S1 imager. This is with it. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. Not to get too technical about it, with this S1 imager, what you'll be able to see, I'm going to move some of these sliders around so you can see what it's doing. So forget about the technical stuff. Think about what it's doing to you, like audibly, like sound wise. What is it changing for you? So let's just mess around with it a little bit. Let's mess with the game. Feeding off me, I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. You see? It's making me wake up exhausted. That's the game, but if I move the width around, it's going to do something completely different. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. And mind you, low subtle differences. At this point in the vocal, we're not doing whole big crazy changes. You know what I mean? We already got the vocal pretty much to what we wanted to sound. So now we coming in with little subtle differences. We're not trying to go crazy. That's why you have to do subtle things along the whole way. Now, there's this other plugin I really like that I just started using that I will use sometimes. Sometimes I won't use it. It's actually like a Curves AQ, which is an AI tool that you could use. You could put it on your vocal, let it hear your vocal. It will give you suggested EQs to add on your vocal. You see what I'm saying? It will give you like EQs to suggest, and it'll give you a different set of those. You can decide to use it or not use it. Sometimes I'll hear what it spits back out, and I'll be like, nah, it's doing too much. It's not going with my sound. You know what I mean? Or sometimes I'll use it. So let's hear it with what this sound like. Being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. I'm turning into a new species. I watch my humanity leave. I stared in the mirror for 22 hours. Don't tell me this vanity, please. Not so bad, you feel what I'm saying? Even if you didn't have this, all this did pretty much was raise a little bit of the low frequency and raise a little bit of the highs. You can see on the 8K, it raised it up a little bit. On the 100, a little bit lower than the 60, it raised it up a little bit because there was some cuts done at first, so it kind of just gave it a little bit of feeling back. Mind you, like I was telling you, my vocal is so damn deep, and that's could be a good thing or a bad thing, because when you're mixing, that's where mud sits. So you really gotta fight with that area so that you're not losing the personality in the mix itself and the vocal itself, but also you don't want it to be so harsh. And I'm super appreciative of being able to deliver this video, because there's not a whole lot of videos out here that speaks to that. You see what I'm saying? There's so many vocals that they're gonna cut it instantly, 200, 150. They're just gonna cut. But I'm glad to be able to deliver this video for y'all that's struggling with those mud areas. You know what I mean? So if you hear it all together, let's go ahead and play it with the beat. I feel this machine feeding off me. I'm seeing it swiping my dreams. It's making me wake up exhausted. I'm living my life on a screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. I'm turning into a new species. I watch my humanity leave. I stared in the mirror for 22 hours. Don't tell me this vanity, please. I'm starting to turn into all of this code, so it's getting harder to read. I'm walking robotic, I'm losing control, so I'm pressing. Okay, so that's where we at with that. Now, with the main vocals on Pro Tools, I suggest you do this with other DAWs as well, and I will do a video at some point just to discuss it. You should be busting your vocals. You shouldn't be putting all your plugins on your vocal track. You should be busting them. And so if you notice, my vocal effect plugins are all on my vocal bus. My reverb plugins are on my reverb bus. My delay plugins are on my delay bus. It's going to give you a cleaner, clearer sound. It's going to allow you so that you don't have to transfer and change that and put that same vocal chain on each individual track you use. You can determine what you want to do with it. I will go in and do little subtle differences as I'll show you now. With these particular ad-libs, I wanted to do something different with it. I gave it a distorted kind of sound, and and I cut a lot of low ends for the ad-libs. I just kind of wanted to have that feel to go in line with what the song was talking about. Like, play off of George Orwell's 1984 classic novel. You know what I mean? So I wanted to come in and give the vocals something different on the ad-lib track. So let's hear what the ad-libs sound like. Let's hear what they sound like without the effects. Let's hear what they sound like with it. Stop. Screen. Watch. The low. The don't. All right. So what I did on this ad-lib track, I did a cut, just like you would do any ad-lib cut. I cut to about 500 hertz, and then I came in with this Absinthe effects plugin. There's no tutorial for effects plugins. To find the right effects for your vocals when it comes to ad-libs or a lot of different things, you have to just mess around with different effects and plugins and see how it sounds best. Still keeping the same information you have about EQing, compressing, making things not sound harsh, certain things that you're learning, but at the same time too, you don't want to be so stuck in the box like you have to use this or that plugin. So let's hear how it sounds with the effect. A minute. Screen.
Is there Vaseline on my face?
Yep. Hello? Yeah. So when your kid asks because he has Vaseline on his face, you don't even wonder. You just stay focused on the tutorial. All right. So that's pretty much what happened with this, right? So now I had another effect on here as well, which I used the amplitude for, because I had two different sets of ad-libs. I just felt like doing something different with this one. This one is more like a distorted effect. You'll hear this one. I'm walking robotic, I'm losing control, someone pressing buttons on me. Just kind of give it like that gritty feel. You know what I mean? And again, that's why it goes like back in line with what your taste is. And it's something I also want to include in this. This video is not going to be too long, and there will be other videos showing you how to set up correctly. And I'll also do a video in Logic as well, production, all types of stuff. But I want to be able to show you certain stuff because it's important for me to give this information out, because it's like, okay, I have these tools right here, but how to pull it all together. So I'll give y'all some quick game on putting it all together, but at the same time, don't forget, there's going to be other videos you'll be able to log into, because Rome wasn't built into a day. It was built in a day. So let's see. On the master bus, mind you, this is the mix. When you're mixing, it's going to go to the master as well. You see what I'm saying? So you don't want your everything so loud to where it's by the time you get to the master, it's distorted. So what I want to do is use a meter. First thing I'm going to do on the master bus is use a meter. I want to see where it's actually hitting at. All right. Don't believe the sliders. Believe your meters. I'm living my life on the screen. The name of this manga is Caution. I already know what it brings. I'm being persecuted for love. We cannot have feelings, it seems. I'm turning into it. All right. Meter in there. And then I'm going to go to the WLM meter. I want to see where this is hitting at the true peak. Like, where is it peaking at? For a mix, some people say you want it at about, where it's about 14, something like that, lufs. Is it 19? No, like 19 lufs before you get to a master. You want it at like 19 lufs, but at the same time, understand the metering, understand all of that. Make sure it's not distorted. Make sure it's not peaking, but use your ears too. I can't stress that enough. No matter how much technical skills you got, using your ears is going to take you much further than you can know all the technical stuff in the world. But if you can't sit and listen, you're not going to be able to to do it correctly. Trust me. I watch my humanity leave. I stared in the mirror for 22 hours. Don't tell me this vanity, please. I'm starting to turn into all of this code, so it's getting harder to be. I'm walking robotic, I'm losing control. Someone pressing buttons on me. My life is born with a picture perfect, and I might die on the street. I see ones and zeros. I feel like fuck your heroes. I feel like calling them widows. Okay, so we're about to wrap this up. We're gonna close this up. I will do another video tutorial showing how I produce this beat, and definitely also showing you guys how you can produce beats on Logic as well. I use Logic. Also could do a tutorial on GarageBand for y'all, whatever DAW you use. You know what I mean? I'll definitely show y'all how I broke it down. Definitely tap in, stay tuned. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe and bell button at the bottom. Tap in with me. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. See y'all in the next one.